Hi everyone, and welcome to Behind the Scenes of Inside Investigations. I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell here with Marnie Zambri, our senior producer. Marnie, we're talking about wholesale real estate today.
Oh, that was one of my favorite ones.
It was a lot of fun, but it's a really serious subject.
It is a serious subject, but you know, a lot of stories, we get people that send us stories, and some of them, we refer to it, they just fall into our lap. And this was one of those stories that just kind of fell into our lap. I got a call on my phone, and they left a message saying that they were interested in buying my home. And the reason I was even kind of thinking about it, and I wasn't considering selling my home, but the message that was left was so friendly, like he had called me before, or that we had been friends back in high school or something. And so instead of ignoring it, we called him back.
And it fell right into our plans to do a story on this because we have realtor friends who had told us that wholesale real estate is a big business in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, and if you don't know what wholesale real estate is, it is where investors basically come and they offer you cash for your home, but it's usually the cash that they're offering you is way lower than the actual value of your home. They're really trying to take advantage of a situation.
And like a lot of schemes, it's a numbers game. They dial for dollars. They send postcards. And guess what? They thought they had hooked Marnie. And it turned out that Marnie had had an appraisal fairly recently, and when they started quoting numbers to her, Marnie, the number was really low, wasn't it?
Well, the number that they started at was about $450,000 less than the actual value of my home. And so when I balked and kind of said there are other homes in my neighborhood that are selling for over $1 million, in fact there's one right behind me, they popped it up about $100,000. But what was so interesting about this is that we went ahead and we looked up the company online, and that kind of peeled the layer off the onion that made us even more interested in tracking this person down, because he was so flamboyant and flagrantly showing
how he does what he does.
How he does what he does, and trying to get other people to join in what he's doing. And he would do that. He had video of him walking off a jet, a private jet, him in all these really expensive cars. He had basically a script that he talked about how he made it big, that he came from nothing. He lived in his mother's basement and everybody thought that he was a loser, and look at him now. You know, he has all these cars, all this money, and this great investment.
So Rafael Vargas makes money two ways. He will buy your home and hopefully get it for far less than it's worth, but he also sells his program to other people who might want to enter the field. Now, these are some of my favorite stories, Marnie, because before we confronted him, I think he thought he was just doing it with complete immunity. Nobody would ever hold him accountable, responsible for it. And at some level, I don't think he thinks what he's doing is wrong.
No, when confronted about it, not only when we confronted him about it, but when we confronted the people that I was talking to on the phone, they kind of give you a duh. We're investing. We're not going to pay more money than what we want to offer, because how are we going to make money if we actually gave you the value of your home?
And this is why this scheme is so successful, because there are a lot of people that live in homes that they have not been aware of the value of the home for decades.
Yes.
So your home appreciates, perhaps you're getting up in years, maybe this is your mom and dad, and suddenly they're being offered $150,000 cash, $250,000 cash. It's really, really tempting. You know, it's kind of like when I'm surfing the web and I see the price of my home on Zillow, I can't help but click because I'm just curious.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way they get you. You know, they called you and they said very friendly and say, hey, we love your neighborhood. And they talk about landmarks in your neighborhood to make you feel as though.
They told me the color of my home. And they told me that they could see my home on their screen. So all of that is strange and weird. And you know, of course, we take a look at it. They're calling me, so I take a look at it through a journalist's eye. And when we're doing these stories, we always want to give the opportunity for everybody to tell their side of the story. And once we revealed who we were to them over the phone, we said we'd really like the opportunity to speak with Rafael Vargas or come down there and speak with you. Of course, they said, no way, not at all. But the way that we operate is that if we give you a fair chance, a fair shake at sitting down and explaining how you're right, and you deny that chance, then we pop on a plane, get in the car, and we try to go and visit you. And again, this is one of those stories that we did where it's great that you're smart and that you plan, but it's even greater when you get lucky.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with us on this one.
Yeah, and so let me go back a little bit, because the other thing that makes this so compelling and such an interesting story is because technology is such today that they can know everything about you and your home, much unlike 15 years ago. The research is right in front of them. And to explain a little bit more about when we confront someone who declines an interview, it often has to do with how aggressive they are with the people that they perhaps are trying to take advantage of. And first step, Wholesale Real Estate, very aggressive.
Very
they
aggressive.
walk your property, they call you on your phone, they continue to call you even after you've told them you're not interested. So that set the stage for us.
Yeah, we went to Tampa, Florida, and we did have an interview with one of the people that they had been harassing and had asked them to stop sending her mail and stuff. But we decided, okay, we're going to take a chance and we're going to go over to their office. And, we've never been there. We got there, we parked. I went in the building, on one side of the building, to make sure that we had the right location, and went out on the other side and was getting in the car. And, we were trying to decide, do we just go upstairs in the building? And we were getting ready to back out, and we looked behind us, and a Range Rover was parked behind us with a very flashy gentleman driving it. And I think I turned around and I said, that's him.
Yeah, and it was odd because he sat in his car for at least another 10 minutes. And, you're sitting there, and when you're inside investigations, you're literally inside investigations. And we're like, is he on to us? Is he calling someone? But he got out of the car, and if you watch the story, you're going to see what happened and what unfolded. And, it's really gratifying, Marty. This is the part of the job that I love the most, when I get to ask tough questions of people who don't seem to be bothered by harming other people or taking advantage of other people.
It makes them squirm. And maybe our ultimate goal is to possibly, we know we're not going to stop what they're doing because they're too successful or they've built an entire business around it, but maybe we'll make them think twice about doing it again.
Yeah, it's all about education. Thank you, Marty. We'll see you guys next time behind Inside Investigations.